From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, political activities gain momentum as parties commence sales of expression and nomination forms, screening of aspirants. 7 abducted herdsmen regain freedom in Anambra State. Zamfara State government dethrones 2 emirs, 1 district head for aiding banditry. On the foreign scene, Russia halts gas supplies to Poland and Bulgaria. Hello and a warm welcome to Trust News Hour. Now the news in detail. As the countdown to the 2023 general elections draw closer, political activities at the various party secretariats are gathering momentum. While purchasing of expression and nomination forms entered second day at the APC Secretariat on Wednesday, screening of aspirants began at the PDP's Legacy House for the National Assembly and State House of Assembly seats. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman captured the 2 events and now reports. Well, that story will be coming your way later. A new guideline released by the leadership of the All Progressives Congress, APC, on Tuesday says all political appointees who aspire to participate at its primary elections at all levels must resign at least 30 days before the conduct of the primaries. The new guideline automatically leaves some of President Muhammadu Buhari's appointees, like Transportation Minister Chiwike Rotimi Amechi and his Labour counterpart Chris Ngige, who are gunning for the 2023 presidency with just 3 days to resign or forget their ambitions. This is in consideration of the fact that the APC primary election for the presidency, according to the ruling party's timetable, has been scheduled to hold between May 30 and June 1. By implication, the new guidelines have also put pay to the ambitions of other aspirants for different elective positions who have not resigned from their appointments as of April 25. Governorship, Senate, Federal and State Assembly primary elections to select APC candidates for the general elections, according to the party's timetable, will hold between May 18 and 23, meaning that appointees for such positions who are yet to resign will have lost whatever was left of their chances to contest in the primaries. Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, has said the leadership of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, has not informed him of the guidelines asking all political appointees to resign before the presidential primary election. Section 3.1 of the APC Guidelines for the nomination of candidates for the 2023 general elections states that no political appointee at any level shall be a voting delegate or be voted for the purpose of the nomination of candidates unless they shall leave office 30 days prior to the date of selection or party primary for the office sought. As a result of this, Ngige, the Minister of Transportation, Chiwike Rotimi Amechi, and the Minister of State for Education, Chukwuemeka Nwajuba, who have shown serious commitment to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari, now have till April 30 to leave their offices. Already, the APC Special Presidential Convention is scheduled to hold from Monday, May 30 to Wednesday, June 1. Ngige, while fielding questions from State House reporters on Wednesday, said he will be guided by the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution. Chairman, Senate Committee on Capital Market, Senator Ibikunle Amosun, representing Ogun Central, has notified the Nigerian Senate of his intention to contest the 2023 presidential race, just as Senator representing Sokoto South, Ibrahim Dambaba, announced his defection from the People's Democratic Party to the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. These were part of activities on the floor of the Senate during plenary on Wednesday. The report.
Senator Ibikunle Amosun's notification is contained in a letter addressed to the Senate and read by the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawa, during plenary on Wednesday. Amosun said he would declare for the race on the 5th of May.
Letter from distinguished Senator Ibikunle Amosun, CON, FCA. Our dear Senate President, notification and invitation to the formal declaration to contest for the office of President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria under the All Progressives Congress, APC. I bring the greatest respect that I write to notify you and my distinguished colleagues of my intention to contest for the office of President of our dear country, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and to respectfully invite you and my distinguished colleagues to the formal declaration ceremony.
Ibikunle Amosun is the third senator of the ruling party, the APC, to join the presidential race. Senators Festus Okoye and Oji Uzo Kalu had earlier announced their bid for the presidency. In another development, President of the Senate Ahmed Lawa said defections to the ruling All Progressive Congress and the build-up to the forthcoming general election is a welcome development. Lawa stated this shortly after reading a letter forwarded to him by Senator representing Sokoto South, Ibrahim Dambaba, in which Dambaba notified the Senate President of his decision to defect to the APC. Dambaba said he is leaving the opposition party PDP as a result of the internal crisis rocking the party.
Letter from distinguished Senator Ibrahim Abdullahi Dambaba, Sokoto South Senatorial District, Senate Deputy Minority Whip. I write to formally inform you and my distinguished colleagues of my decision to join the All Progressives Congress, APC, from the People's Democratic Party, PDP. My decision is anchored on the continuing and multifaceted crises that have bedeviled the PDP, especially at the zonal level, which has created not only credibility problems, but has undermined party discipline, cohesion, and focus.
Senator Philip Aduda was, however, quick to disagree with his counterpart, saying there was no crisis in the state chapter of the party as presented by Dambaba.
I want to state that there are no crises in the PDP in the Northwest. So his might be personal, but otherwise there are no. I just want the public and everybody and Nigerians to know that there is no crisis in the PDP in the Northwest.
Senator Dambaba's defection brings the total number of APC senators to 71, PDP 37, and Young Progressive Party 1.
As the countdown to the 2023 general elections draws closer, political activities at the various party secretariats are gathering momentum, while purchase of expression and nomination forms entered second day at the APC Secretariat on Wednesday. Screening of aspirants began at the PDP's Legacy House for the National Assembly and State House of Assembly seats. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman captured the two events and now reports.
At the Muhammadu Buhari House, headquarters of the APC, it was carnival-like, with aspirant supporters trooping in to catch the moments their prepared aspirants obtained their nomination and expression of interest forms.
Today we have picked our intent and nomination form for the position of president or presidential flag bearer of our great party, the All Progressives Congress.
On the flip side was the PDP's Legacy House, where screening of aspirants vying for the Senate, House of Reps, and State Houses of Assembly commenced.
There are certain things that the party expects you to have before you fly the parties. So you must have paid the party's expression of interest fee, and you must have also paid for the nomination form, and you must be a tax-paying Nigerian.
Amid security concerns and the inability to hold state congresses, these aspirants here remain resolute in their quest to clinch their respective party tickets.
They have been here since morning, making sure that everything is going as usual. There is no any kind, everybody, no jumping off queue.
What I'm actually more concerned about, which all of us are, is Congress. We haven't done our state Congress, so as of now, we don't even know who the delegates are.
In Anambra State, we have some security challenges because of the agitation for Biafra, and here and there some security challenges. It is not an issue peculiar to Anambra State alone.
While the PDP hopes to conclude the screening exercise with states in the northwest to climax with that of the presidential hopefuls on Friday, the APC Secretariat is witnessing an increased turnout of aspirants seeking elective positions from across the country. Shapir Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Our People's Democratic Party PDP presidential aspirant, Mr. Peter Obi, has said he is not desperate to be president but eager to see Nigeria work when he takes the mantle of leadership in the country. Obi, a two-term governor of Anambra State and vice presidential candidate of the PDP in 2019, stated this on Wednesday when he visited Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doye Diri in Yenagoa. Governor Diri's spokesman, Daniel Alabra, quoted Obi in a statement as saying that Nigeria was a great country with untapped potentials, which he is ready to harness in order to move the nation away from a consumption economy to a productive one. The presidential hopeful, who reeled out the statistics of agricultural value chain to Nigeria's economy as against oil revenue, decried the level of neglect of food production in the country. He asserted that if elected Nigeria's president, he will end the current oil revenue sharing formula and introduce a production formula, particularly in agriculture and ICT. In his remarks, the Bayelsa State Governor, Senator Doye Diri, said Obi proved his worth while he served as governor of Anambra State, especially when he saved and handed over 75 billion naira to his successor. He said Nigeria needed well-equipped and knowledgeable people like Obi to rescue the country from those who have failed to fix it. Some protesters on Tuesday stormed the Adamawa State House of Assembly, barricading the entrance in a bid to stop the alleged plans by the Speaker of the House, Aminu Iya Abbas, to declare vacant the seat of a People's Democratic Party lawmaker representing Michika State constituency in the Assembly, Ayuba Joseph, for defecting to the All Progressives Congress, APC. But the defection of Ayuba, announced on the 19th of April, has tilted that slim majority enjoyed by the PDP in favor of the APC in the state legislature. The development, which is brewing tensions in Adamawa State, has not gone down well with the PDP and her lawmakers, who had planned to use the day's sitting to declare the defecting lawmaker's seat vacant.
These protesters here have come to register their displeasure about an alleged plot to suspend Honorable Ayuba Joseph, a former People's Democratic Party lawmaker representing Michika State constituency, who dumped the party for the All Progressive Congress in Adamawa State. The demonstrators temporarily barricaded the assembly and nearly disrupted the day's sitting before reinforcement of anti-riot policemen restored order. Honorable Ayuba, at the center of the crisis, speaks.
I had a rumor that they want to declare my seat vacant today, but I'm waiting for it to happen because I was not the first person to detect. Most of them were already decided from APC to PDP. Nothing was done about him. Italia left AGC to APC. Nothing has done about that. But I don't know the reason that my defection is different from others.
Speaking further on his defection, the lawmaker popularly known as the police said he quit the PDP because he no longer felt accommodated in the party.
Recently, he gave money to PDP members to purchase form. I was excluded. He gave to 13 members. He refused to give me, which shows that I'm no longer important before them. That's why I decided to quit and join the APC. Because you cannot build a home and stay on sun. If you build a home, you need to stay under the shade. So, shade was not given to me. So I cannot continue staying under the sun. I must look for shade to cover myself.
In the meantime, the Adamawa State House of Assembly has declared the seat of the member representing Michika State constituency, Joseph Ayuba, vacant for defecting from the ruling People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressives Congress, APC. During Wednesday's plenary, presided over by the Speaker of the House, Aminu Iya Abbas, the House, citing Section 109(1)(g) of the Constitution, declared the seat of the lawmaker vacant by virtue of leaving his party under whose crest he was elected. Presenting the issue before the plenary, attended by 13 out of the 25 members, Deputy Speaker Puam Wakeno Makondo, citing Section 109 of the Constitution, urged the House to declare the seat of the lawmaker vacant. Iya Abbas then requested Makondo to present the section of the Constitution, after which he put a motion for the declaration of the member's seat vacant. After the motion was moved and seconded, the Speaker declared the seat of the lawmaker vacant and asked the clerk to inform relevant authorities, including INEC, of the House decision.
It's evidently clear that the member representing Michika, Honorable Joseph Bada, last Saturday, the 23rd of this month, he has declared publicly to leave PDP to APC. For this reason, Mr. Speaker, he has violated Section 109, Sub 1, Sub G, and Sub 2 has given you that power, Mr. Speaker.
To this section of the Constitution of Nigeria, 1989, as amended, the seat of one member of which is declared vacant. Clerk communicate to all relevant authorities and INEC that this seat is declared vacant.
Gunmen suspected to be political thugs in the early hours of Wednesday stormed the residence of a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Bayelsa State, Honorable Sunday Frank Oputu, and shot him dead. Daily Trust gathered that Frank Oputu, who had also served as state chairman of the Conference of Nigerian Political Parties, CNPP, was assassinated at his residence at Bay Bridge Road, Yenagoa, the state capital. Frank Oputu, an ally of the former Minister of Agriculture, Senator Henikin Nopobiri, and belonged to APC faction in the state, loyal to him, was shot through his window while asleep by yet-to-be unidentified gunmen. Police authorities in Bayelsa State, who confirmed the gruesome murder of the APC chieftain through a statement by the police spokesman, SP Asinim Buktwat, said the Commissioner of Police has directed operatives to intensify efforts to identify and arrest the perpetrators. Chairman and Chief Executive of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, retired Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, has urged political parties to make drug integrity tests part of the screening requirements for aspirants seeking to contest political offices in the 2023 elections on their platforms. Marwa stated this while responding to questions from journalists at the 2022 First Quota Best Performing Commands Awards ceremony at the agency's national headquarters in Abuja on Wednesday. A statement by the Director, Media and Advocacy of the agency, Femi Bafemi, noted that such drug integrity test will certify that whoever given the responsibility serving the nation is in a stable condition to handle the affairs they have been entrusted with. He expressed regret, a situation where leaders spent funds meant for public good on consumption of illicit substances, adding that he has notified the national chairman of the APC on the need to conduct drug tests on both elected and appointed officials. While pledging to forward same notification to the PDP, Marwa maintained that the agency will continue in this advocacy until parties and other state governments take a cue from Kano State. INEC's National Electoral Commissioner for Information and Voter Education, Festus Okoye, has advised politicians and political parties to deal cautiously with the controversial clause 8412 of the new Electoral Act 2022 ahead of party primary elections. The clause, which requires political appointees interested in running for political offices to resign before party primaries, has been marred by legal tussles since the president signed the bill into law. Festus Okoye spoke when he appeared as guest on Trust TV's breakfast show, Daybreak.
The Electoral Act 2022 has been assented to by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So it is the extant law in relation to the procedures and processes for elections in Nigeria. So political parties are expected and to abide by the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022 in everything they do. If you look at Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act, it says no political appointee at any level shall be a voting delegate or be voted for at the convention or congress of any political party for the purpose of the nomination of candidates for any election. Now, the lawmakers went ahead immediately thereafter in Section 84, subsection 13 to say that where a political party, the emphasis here is on the political party. It says where a political party fails to comply with the provisions of this act in the conduct of his primaries, his candidate for election shall not be included in the election for the particular position in issue. So what the law is saying is that political parties must do due diligence and make sure that all their candidates conform and remain within the ambit of the law and the Constitution in their emergence and also in terms of their credentials, and that at the end of the day, any political party that fails to comply, that it is that political party that will be the loser, because it will not have candidate for that particular position for which it failed to comply. And that was why I kept on saying that political parties should err on the side of caution rather than doing something that will also lead to increase in the cost of elections and also lead to it not having any candidate in relation.
Family members of victims of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack have continued to cry out for help as abductors yet again released photos of the remaining victims. In the photographs released on Tuesday, 62 victims were seen in 4 groups, including children, aged women, and men. Chairman of the group of concerned relatives of abducted persons, Dr. Abdulfatai Jimo, who confirmed the photographs, said all those displayed in the picture are the kidnapped victims. He appealed to the government and other relevant authorities to show leadership and courage by ensuring that the victims are rescued unhurt. An 83-year-old woman who is said to be suffering from diabetes was also among the victims with her daughter. This is the third time the terrorists would release pictures. This is the third time the terrorists will release evidence that their captives are alive. Anambra Police Command says 7 out of 8 herdsmen allegedly kidnapped in the state on Saturday have been found and rescued. Police spokesman of the command, Tochukwu Ikenga, who disclosed this to newsmen, said the joint police and military patrol team found the herdsmen sitting in the bush unhurt on Sunday. They were found at Ogbene Onuche Umodu in Ogbaru local government area of the state. In the meantime, chairman of Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, Magban Southeast, Gidado Sidiki, alleged on Saturday that 10 herdsmen were kidnapped and 300 cows rustled in Ogbaru in Anambra. Sidiki said the kidnappers demanded ransom of 4 million naira for the release of the abductees.
We went there, we saw those persons scattered all over the bush, even with the cows. So when they now saw that we are, it's actually security personnel, so they came out, and as I speak with you right now, the operation is still ongoing, and the bush where they were found, our men are heavily deployed, even with the military.
Some group of people around 1:30 went to the cattle settlement at a community called Obene. They open fire, shooting. When they are shooting, our men are sleeping. So when they start shooting, they wake up and start running. Unfortunately, one of them by name Shuaibu Magaji was abducted. The first victim that was kidnapped on that 22nd was nowhere to be found. We have not seen him dead or alive.
Gombe State government has raised alarm over security threats in Wawa Zange Grazing Reserve, located in Duku local government area of the state. The state governor, Yahaya Inuwa, raised the alarm when he hosted officials of the Institute for Security Studies at the Gombe State government. Ismail Ibrahim reports.
Officials of the Institute for Security Studies, in company of participants of Executive Intelligence Management EIM Course 15, were in Gombe for research purpose. Governor Inuwa used the opportunity to speak on security situation of Gombe State and called for strengthened effort to maintain its peaceful status in the northeast region.
As far as the issue of our Zange is concerned, I've mentioned in my own speech that there doesn't seem to be proper implementation and coordination, and the state cannot go it alone. We cannot prevent people from coming in, especially SDS can bear witness that the movements of those that have been pressed hard now in the northwest is becoming noticeable, and if care is not taken, it may turn to another semester because it's so big, so vast.
The Institute for Security Studies team said the research theme for the Executive Intelligence Management Course 15 is the global climate challenge, prospects and priorities for economic development and conflict resolution in Africa.
So in that wise, we are also here, sir, to tap on your repertoire of knowledge and encourage you to interact with us freely on this theme with a view to enriching our research findings. Therefore, permit me, ladies and gentlemen, the honor and kindly join me too in inviting His Excellency to deliver a paper and interact with the team.
Speaking earlier, the Director, State Security Services, Gombe State Command, appreciate the state government's effort in strengthening security.
Through your effort and your desire to have a peaceful state, Gombe is #1 as far as security is concerned in the northeast of the country.
Wawa Zange Grazing Reserve is a 144,000 hectares of land located in Gombe North, bordering Bauchi State. Security intelligence has raised fears of possible invasion of the forest by terrorists. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
The Senate has passed a bill seeking to amend the Terrorism Prevention Act 2013 and to prohibit the payment of ransom to kidnappers in the country. Passage of the bill followed the consideration of a report by the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters. The report.
The Chairman, Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Opeyemi Bamidele, in his presentation, said the bill seeks to outlaw the payment of ransom to abductors, kidnappers, and terrorists for release of any person who was unwrongfully confined, imprisoned, or kidnapped. He assured that the amendment to the Terrorist Act will set standards and regulatory systems intended to prevent terrorist groups from laundering money through the banking system and other financial networks.
The need to comprehensively review the Terrorism Prevention Act arose from the unfavorable ratings of Financial Act Task Force recommendations of Nigeria's Mutual Evaluation Report and consequent placement of Nigeria in FACT's international cooperation and review group process with its impending sanctions on Nigeria's economy.
The Senate President Ahmed Lawa, in his remarks after the bill was passed, said the bill, when signed into law, will complement the federal government's effort in the fight against insecurity.
A bill for an act to amend the Terrorism Prevention Act 2013 and for other matters connected thereto 2022 had been taken, and the bill is passed. Well, congratulations to the Senate for passing this very, very important bill on terrorism. And it is our belief here in the Senate that this bill, by the time signed into an act by Mr. President, will enhance the efforts of this government in the fight against terrorism, kidnapping, and other associated and related vices.
The bill was passed by the chamber after it scaled through third reading on the floor. In the meantime, the Senate has adjourned plenary till 10th of May for the Eid al-Fitr Salah holiday.
Senate on Wednesday mourned those killed in an explosion at the site of an illegal refinery in Abaezi community in Ohagi Egbema local government area of Imo State. Lawmakers in the Senate reached the decision following a point of order raised by the member representing Imo West Senatorial District, Senator Rochas Okorocha, during the plenary. Okorocha, while relying on Order 42 of the Senate Standing Order 2022, as amended, informed his colleagues during plenary that the incident which occurred last Friday led to the death of 110 people. The lawmaker called on the federal government to consider legislation to provide for local technology for artisanal and modular refineries, considering the gap in Nigeria's refining capacity. Commenting on the incident, the Senate President Ahmed Lawan underscored the need for local refining of petroleum products to boost the nation's revenue. The Senate later observed a minute's silence in honor of the victims. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, preparations in full gear ahead of Salah celebration. Do stay with us.
Dear residents of our beautiful capital city of Abuja, I know we all desire to have a world-class city with working infrastructure and clean streets. That is why the Federal Capital Territory Administration is investing a lot of resources and manpower to ensure prompt evacuation of refuse from all nooks and crannies of the city. Now, this can only be sustained if all residents play their part by promptly paying their waste collection bills. Encourage everyone around you to be patriotic and pay their bills. The task of keeping Abuja clean is for all of us. Remember, soup wey sweet, na money kill am. This message is from the Federal Capital Territory Administration.
Welcome back. You're still watching NewsHour on Trust TV. Let's take another look at our top stories. We told you that political activities gain momentum as political parties commence sales of expression and nomination forms, screening of aspirants, and 7 abducted herdsmen regain freedom in Anambra State. Moving now to more stories. The Zamfara state government has dethroned 2 emirs and a district head over allegations of aiding the activities of bandits terrorizing communities in the state. Those affected by the government's decision include the Emir of Zurmi, Abubakar Atiku, Emir of Dansadao, Husseini Umar, as well as Suleiman Ibrahim, who used to be the district head of Benin Saba. The State Commissioner for Information, Mr. Ibrahim Dosara, made the announcement on Wednesday while briefing reporters at the end of the State Executive Council meeting in Gusau, the state capital. According to the Commissioner, the government has also ordered that all land titles issued by the affected traditional leaders be revoked.
Wednesday, April 2022, to deliberate on a white paper presented to the Council on the outcome of investigations by 2 committees set up by government sometimes in June-July 2021 on the alleged involvement of some traditional rulers in the activities of bandits in the state, particularly within their domains. These 3 traditional rulers are the Emir of Zurmi, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and that of Dansadau, Alhaji Husseini Umar. Then the district head of Benin Saba, Alhaji Suleiman Ibrahim Nanyaki.
The federal government has resumed the revival of the Agile Quota Steel Company Limited and the National Iron Ore Mining Complex in Itakwe, Kogi State. To this end, the cabinet approved the engagement of transaction advisors for consultancy services on the 2 complexes. Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, announced the approval on Wednesday at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting at the State House, Abuja. The report.
The contract for the Ajaokuta steel mills was initially awarded in 1979 to a Russian company called TPE. By the end of 1983, the implementation of the contract had reached advanced stage. Regrettably, since then, completing the complex has been almost impossible. Over 850 billion naira will be set aside to engage consultants that will hopefully bring the Ajaokuta steel mills and the iron ore company in Utakwe back to life. But what is the guarantee that the complexes will work this time around?
When these 2 complexes, two plants, when they begin to function, then not only are we going to save a lot of money in terms of foreign exchange, but you're going to see a lot of industrial development and also technology transfer.
Meanwhile, the Council of Ministers approved on Wednesday contracts worth 10.48 billion naira and $27.09 million for the Federal Ministry of Power. The contracts are for the purchase of major electricity transmission equipment that will rejuvenate and boost electricity supply across the country.
Like today, we have new
contract for expansion of line and spare parts, transformers. So these are measures being taken by government to strengthen the operational capacity of the transmission.
Also on Wednesday, the Cabinet approved the revised National Energy Policy 2022, which will enable the country take optimum advantage of all available sources of energy in Nigeria. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday presided over the Federal Executive Council FEC at the State House, where he also swore in 4 permanent secretaries. The new permanent secretaries include Beatrice Jedi Agba, Kacholom Daju, Shehu Ibrahim, Mary Ogbe. Present at the oath taking were the President, Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Secretary to Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, and the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemieson, as well as some ministers. Shortly after the meeting commenced, the Cabinet observed a minute's silence for a former Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Aviation, Tony Graham Douglas, who died recently at the age of 82. As Muslims prepare to mark yet another Eid al-Fitr celebration, residents in Kano are lamenting the high cost of food items and other essential commodities. Trust TV's Idris Jibrin reports that despite the current economic challenges, businesses in Kano are still booming, with many people from different parts of the country trooping in for Salah shopping. The report.
Ramadan fast has come to an end, and Salah's celebration is here again. Abdurazak Ahmad and many other Muslims in Kano have been looking forward to this moment. But this year, the cost of livelihood has been high, and more bad news may await, as market price of various products is crashing. I bought textile materials 3 weeks ago, and I'm here now to buy again. Honestly, the price, it's too high compared to how I bought them last year. We are in the market to buy clothes in one hand, and on the other hand, we are dealing with the high cost of food items, which is why even if you get the money, it will not have value. Although businesses are booming across many parts of Kano, but rising price of food items and other essential commodities needed for the festivities remains a threat to many residents.
We can only ask God to help us, because items that were sold at 1,000 naira have increased to 3,000 naira. Shoes that we once bought for our children at 600 naira now go for 2,000 naira. Lace of 3,000 is now 10,000 naira. So the whole thing is just unbearable.
Often refers to as the rendezvous of business and businessmen, Kano has for centuries remained the Nigerian center of commerce and a trade hub for many West African countries, where millions of people troops in to trade, especially by this time of the year. Well, people are coming out to buy, but I must tell you that the price is not favorable for both the sellers and the buyers. We are just hoping that government workers will get paid so that they can come out. Despite this, the famous Doano Grains Market, the largest Abubakar Remi market in Sabongari, the popular Kantinkori textile market, among others, all tells a story of how Kano people are preparing for this year's Eid al-Fitr celebrations. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
The Federation of Muslim Women Association of Nigeria, Form 1, has charged women not to encourage street begging by their children as it is against the teachings of Islam. National Amiral of our National Association, Rafiat Sani, gave the charge during this year's annual Ramadan Tafsir organized for women in Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital. Abubakar Abdullahi filed in this report.
National Amira of the Federation of Muslim Women, Hajia Rafiat Sani, represented by the association's National Assistant Secretary, Zainab Ahmed, said it was pertinent for Muslim women to help address the issue of street begging by not allowing their words to take to it.
Women are the primary, the foundation of every family. So like this year, we talked about the issue of almajiranci and trying to make them realize that almajiranci is not and should not be equated with begging. Islam across begging in whatever form, except for certain instances where you are allowed to beg for that period of want.
Rafiat Sani explained that the one-month Ramadan Tafsir is holding across the Federation to, among other things, inculcate in women the virtues of Islam and urge them to imbibe idea of child spacing. On her part, Nasarawa State Amira of Form 1, Habiba Sani Abdullahi, noted that the organization is aimed at training and reminding women of their roles in the families, the importance of Ramadan, as well as assist them with food and materials. Also speaking, the association's chairperson on humanitarian service, Hajia Halima Sanusi, said the donation of food items was born out of the desire to make life less difficult for women.
Reminding them on their role as mothers, their role as regards to the teachings of Islam.
The occasion featured presentation of food items to the women in attendance.
A Wednesday evening downpour in Benin City, the Edo State capital, left road users stranded for hours as most parts of Benin metropolis were flooded. The rain, which lasted several hours, rendered most roads impassable due to the flood. Passengers resorted to long-distance trekking as motorists remained in queues while other lanes were totally deserted by vehicles. Let's now join Chamun Dabeng for more business reports.
Recall that on the 4th of April 2022, the federal government ordered telecommunication companies to bar outgoing calls of SIM cards yet to be linked to their individual identification numbers. A total of 22 days has passed since the restrictions were established. So far, telecommunication companies have lost about 75.78 billion naira as subscribers struggle to link their national identification number to the subscriber identity module. Voice calls are a major source of revenue for telcos. However, due to the barring of the defaulting SIM cards, about 72.77 million active telecom subscribers have been unable to make calls through their phones. In view of the strong momentum seen in the last quarter of 2021, the International Monetary Fund (IMF) has revised Nigeria's real gross domestic product (GDP) upwards to 3.4% in April 2022 and downward to 3.1% in 2023 from 2.7% in January 2022. According to Ari Aizen, Nigeria resident representative International Monetary Fund (IMF), the prediction of some of these economic indicators was a reflection of the Russia-Ukraine war. Aizen further stated that Nigeria's medium to long-term growth estimate is unlikely to be as high as it once was unless unexpected events occur that alter the country's economic status. Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has affirmed the importance of the capital market in a country's development by providing long-term money for infrastructure development, among other things. Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC), Mr. Lamido Yuguda, stated this when a team from the Nigerian Economic Summit Group (NESG) visited the Commission in Abuja to engage the SEC on economic growth. According to the SEC DG, the capital market can do more in terms of providing critical infrastructure for the country in order to boost the government's development initiatives. NESG's Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Layoye Jayola, voiced concerns that the banking system is overburdened, asking governments and corporations to seek to the capital market for their financial needs, further stating that transactions can be arranged to produce bonds, bills, and other items that will fund whatever needs to be funded without going via banks. That's all for business news. I am Chamun Dabing.
Russian energy giant Gazprom says it has cut gas supplies to Poland and Bulgaria over their refusal to pay in rubles. In a statement on Wednesday, the Russian energy giant said it has completely suspended gas supplies to Poland's PNIG and Bulgaria's Bulgargas due to non-payments in rubles. Both Ukraine and the EU say Russia is using energy to try and blackmail countries supporting Ukraine. Bulgaria accuses Gazprom of breaching its contract, while Poland says it can manage the situation. The EU is holding emergency gas talks to decide how to respond, but says it has contingency plans in place. The cutoffs are the first since Russian President Vladimir Putin's announcement last month that unfriendly foreign buyers will have to transact with Gazprom in rubles instead of US dollars and euros. The demand was a response to international sanctions over its war in Ukraine. 20 Muslim worshippers have been killed in Ethiopia's Amhara region after an ambush by unidentified armed men, an Islamic leader in the region said. The violence was unrelated to the conflict in the neighboring Tigray region, which began in November 2020 and spilled over into Amhara and Afar regions last year. According to Said Mohammed, president of the Amhara Islamic Affairs Supreme Council, the incident happened on Tuesday when Muslims were on their way to bury an individual. Said said the armed men threw an explosive device at the Muslim crowd in the town of Gonda, killing 3 people and wounding 5. The other victims died in the ensuing chaos. And in sports, Kano Pillars defeat Sunshine Stars of Akure at the MKO Abiola Stadium, Abuja. Trust TV, Adeniyi Ajishafe has more.
Match day 25 fixture between Kano Pillars and Sunshine Stars of Akure at MK Abiola Stadium, Abuja ends in favor of Same Ezugida team 1-0 to end 3 maximum points after being banished to Abuja due to unruly behaviors of some fans at Sani Abacha Stadium in Kano against Katsina United. Pillars and Owena Kings squared up against each other looking for opportunity to earn a lead before the 19th minute when Fawad Usman made a cross converted by Jerry Alex to earn the winning point for the home team. Kano Pillars assistant coach Ibrahim Musa believes his team will continue to do better to keep away from relegation zone and move up the ladder.
So we need to wake up to see Kano Pillars at root because everywhere we go, we win. Last year, if you check the record, we played 10 matches unbeaten. Last year, we played 14 matches unbeaten. So we are not caring about not much, but we know we lost our various supporters, but we can't do anything. We are keeping up so to see Kano Pillars are out of this relegation.
Sunshine Stars head coach Emmanuel Duch says Kano Pillars played well against his team despite observing fasting, as he calls for better performance in their next game.
Yeah, no, you can't talk about that. We have to do first by position. See how we can assess again, continue to assess. You see, I have the young boys. Then get the fighting spirit, but at the end, we lack the finishing. But we play against a team where they are down the table. They are wounded lion because they want to come out by all means. That they have to use all the possibility, their strength to come up with that situation they have, because for their name, at least, they play well. But we lose the game 1-0. The game for equalize. My boys show some good character from the second half. We lose concentration in the first half because Kano Pillars, their positioning with Rabiu Ali was moving. But it was, he's an intelligent player. When he moves, we lose concentration for that middle. But for the second half, we'll get to do some few changes. I think we'll take control of the game. But lack of experience from my attacker. That's.
With 3 points added, Pillars are 16th on the log with 26 points, while Sunshine Stars remain unmoved in 7th position with 36 points. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
And with that, we have come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. You can follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ayinde Shuaga, thanking you for watching.